Guess who just got an over $5 million payout? No, not me. I wish it were me. But not for the reasons that E. Jean Carroll just did. So let me just lay it out real flat for you. E. Jean Carroll sued Donald Trump for sexual assault. Courts can only rule against a defendant in a civil case by preponderance of the evidence, meaning it's more likely than not that it happened. Beyond a reasonable doubt would be a criminal case. So they ruled against Donald Trump by preponderance of the evidence. And then, of course, Donald Trump appeals because he doesn't want to pay. And then the courts went, nope, you're liable. You got to pay. And they have to look at the facts of the previous case, how they were presented. The appellate court does. They look at the previous case, how it was presented. They check for any procedural issues. And then they look at the evidence and they go, you know what? Okay, is the evidence by preponderance? Yes, it is. The lower court ruled perfectly. You have to pay. That's 2 courts reviewing the evidence. Twice reviewed. Both found preponderance. Both found proper procedure. And today, E. Jean Carroll got her payout. But the Trump supporters out there will still tell you, and Trump himself said on 60 Minutes, I am not a rapist. I've never raped anyone. I've never sexually assaulted anyone. He continues to maintain his innocence. And the Trump supporters continue to support his innocence. And they say that the court, and in the felony fraud case as well, the 34 counts of felony fraud that have been brought against Trump and that he has been convicted of, the Trump supporters and Trump himself say that they're crooked courts used for political purposes. Let's not, examine the fact that a lot of these are Trump appointees, but whatever. But let's go beyond that. Let's say that these are crooked courts. We'll buy your premise for a second. Listen up, Trump supporters, I'm buying your premise that the courts are crooked. I believe our justice system has got a lot of fixing to do. We can agree on that. But now I gotta ask you, and think hard about this one, do you support the death penalty in America? Do you think the same courts that you claim can be manipulated for political purposes and wrongly convict Trump 34 times for fraud and once for sexual assault, now, not a conviction, a liability, but the same court that found him liable for sexual assault and guilty of 34 counts of fraud, should those courts be able to execute people if they're so crooked? I mean, these are the same folks that are calling for the death penalty for, pedos? Like Trump? But they're saying anybody who messes with a kid deserves to die. Anybody who does that deserves to fry. Put them all in jail. Put them all in jail. Lethal injection, Second Amendment. They sure call for the imprisonment and execution of people a whole lot for folks that think the courts are crooked. If the courts are crooked and you want them executing people, then what the fuck does that make you? Part of the goddamn problem. Our justice system is far from perfect. There is a lot that needs to get fixed. We have a 2, maybe 3-tiered justice system here in the United States. Let's not even talk about for-profit prisons and corporate incarceration. Recidivism rates and the criminalization of being black or brown. I don't even want to go down the damn slippery slope of talking about how the Republicans pumped crack into the black community to try to incarcerate them all, or made a medicinal herb like marijuana illegal so they could, arrest the people that are Rastafarian or the folks that were using it for medicine purposes. Let's not even talk about all that. But if the courts are so crooked, why do you support the death penalty? Why do you support incarceration? Why do you support mandatory minimum sentences? Think about that shit and get back to me, would you? If thinking ain't too much to ask.